So, there's not that many places these days where guys feel totally comfortable, where they can feel like they can totally speak their mind and just be free and easy and not worry about offending somebody or upsetting somebody or saying the wrong thing. And a couple of those places are the barber shop, not the hair salon, big difference there, but the barber shop and the hockey dressing room. And it's not like we're all sitting around talking about racist or sexist or fascist stuff. I mean, most of the guys are pretty smart and they're pretty articulate. But we're not the most sensitive group in the world. So we definitely go at each other. There's a fair bit of razzing, and there's, I think, humor, some wit, and sometimes it's just kind of plain old Three Stooges, and that works too. Anyway, pretty well every subject is open. We don't talk about wives or girlfriends except to ask how they're doing, and that's about it. And we're all pretty discreet about stuff. But that said, we don't mind having an occasional go with somebody, and yet there's one subject that we don't talk about. Guys just don't talk about it. But before I get on to that, I'll just quickly give you an anecdote so you get some sense of how open we are and how we're not exactly curtailed by sensitivity. So one of the guys, we've been playing with him for years. Everybody likes him. He's a great guy, very successful. He's now CEO. But this happened quite a few years ago, and he got left at the altar. He quite literally got stood up at the altar. He was standing there waiting for his bride-to-be, and she never showed up. And of course, this made the rounds. Everybody knew about it, and there was a lot of guests there. And about 10 days after this sad event, he walks into the dressing room, and you'd think that we would be understanding and empathetic, and we wouldn't say much, and if we did, it'd be, oh, that's too bad, yeah. But we didn't. There was about a minute's awkward silence, and then we got into it. We kind of let him have it, both barrels. And you know what? He took it like a man. He just hung his head and said, I know. And he was distraught, but I think what really pissed him off was the fact that he had decided to give her a prenuptial gift of body work. So on his dime, even though she was making just about as much money as him, she had her breasts enlarged and her nose and her butt reduced. Probably regrets now that she had her butt reduced. But anyway, he was just kind of ticked that he had paid for all that work, and he wasn't going to benefit from it in any way. So, like I say, we weren't overly sensitive to his plight. In fact, not just the opposite. We saw it as rich ground for comedy. But there is one thing that we don't talk about, and it's this. If a guy is losing his hair and you still have hair, you cannot comment in any way on the state of his hair. Now, if you're bald or if you're losing your hair as quickly, then you can say something, then it's okay. But you have to understand that for a man, losing your hair is one of the most traumatic things in the world. It really is very upsetting. So I'll give you another story about this. So we're deep into the playoffs, and this is quite a few years ago when we're young and playing pretty competitive. And one of the guys in our team, good player, and again, very successful guy. He's been losing his hair for a couple of years, and now this is the end of May, and he's pretty well bald. Anyway, I think we win the championship, as I recall. And then about 4 months later, as the new season begins, so end of September, he walks into the dressing room, and there's 20, 25 guys sitting in the dressing room, 20 guys anyway. And he's got a full head of hair. I mean, a full head. It's a rug. Now, it's a good rug. It's a very expensive rug, but it's a rug. And we all know it's a rug because we saw him just a few months ago and he was pretty well bald. But nobody said a thing. Nobody said boo. And then, about 3 or 4 months later, he decides that the rug is ridiculous and walks into the dressing room with his head completely shaved. Rug is gone. And again, nobody says a thing. We didn't look at him, we didn't say anything, we didn't smile or laugh, nothing. Nothing at all. The only guy who said anything was the other bald guy in the room, and he just looked at him and he said, "That's good." And that's it. So there you go. The one thing guys can't talk about if you have hair is you cannot talk about another man losing his.